Good day, everybody. This is the pre-recorded video for the discussion of our Module 3, Lesson 5, and Lesson 6. So we have here Lesson 5, the physical and sexual self, and Lesson 6, to buy or not to buy. That is the question. Supernaturals, believe it or not. So allow me, guys, to share my screen, the PowerPoint presentation. Okay, here we are. The physical and sexual self for our lesson 5. So in this lesson, I want you to have these learning objectives. First is to define what physical self is all about and differentiate natural and artificial methods of contraception. You can also discuss the different views of one's physical self and the developmental aspect of the reproductive system. Describe the erogenous zones and sexually transmitted diseases. Determine the factors that influence the change of view of one's physical self and characterize the diversity of sexual behavior. To start with, guys, allow me to share with you some motivations with this kind of verse from the Bible. So allow me to share this message for you. So I just want you to motivate with this verse from the Bible from First Corinthians 6, chapter 6, verses 9 to 20. Since in this lesson, we talked about physical self and the sexual self. So here, First Corinthians chapter 6, verses 9 to 20 says, do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit? We talk about here physical self. Okay, the physical self is you, your bodies, and that is the temples of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit dwells on us, who is in you, whom you have received from God. Okay, you are not your own. You are not your own. So we cannot change everything we have because God created us uniquely. And you were bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies. Okay, we must honor God and use our body to honor God. And that is what First Corinthians chapter 6, 19, 20. Just a sort of motivation, and we must know, guys, that our body is the temple of God and we must take good care of our body. So we have some activities last time in our virtual meeting, and we will continue it here, the discussion in here. So I give you some questions. What is physical self? And you must give at least just one word to describe in your own understanding what is physical self. And in here, we we can see in the screen that majority of your answers is body, and that is correct. And some answers also appearance. Okay, the physical self also that is you. What you appeared to somebody is your physical self. And essential. The physical self is essential to us, and it's also the image that we can see that is you, the physical self, and the features. The features, that's the physical self. That's the features of who you are. Okay? And perceptible, individual, attractiveness, essential. Lawas. Okay. Medyo ni answer og lawas bisdak. Okay, Bisayang dako. Okay, here guys, since we talk about physical self, and we all know that our physical self, which is our body, and that's what I have said, that our body is the temple of God and we must take good care of it. Somehow we take to realize that, oh, I have abused myself already because of using some illegal medicines, illegal drugs, no cigarettes, smoking, no na gibutang sa Cigarette smoking is dangerous for your health, diba? And also, drinking hard liquor so much, that can also damage our body. And we must consider that we must take good care of this. And this is our wealth, diba? Health is wealth. And consider everything, that your body is your puhunan in everything. Okay? And we must also understand the beauty of the physical self. Why? Understand who you are, the beauty of who you are, the physical self. When others said that and question God, why God allowed me to born in this kind of, 'di ba? No, nganong ipanganak pa ko aning kalibutana, and that will also consider, sometimes will pop up in our minds, na maka-questions ta. And what's the purpose why God have put you in this place, or you have come up in this place, 'di ba? God created you. And we must also remember that God created you for a purpose. And in this lesson, we must understand the beauty of the physical self and learn also this to understand the sexual self. We must consider that sexual self correlate with our physical self. And if our sexual self, the reproductive system, the development of our reproductive system has a great impact in our self, our physical self. If there is the development of our sexual self and also the reproductive system, there is a great change in our physical self. So we can have that change, especially when we will come up with the puberty stage, the adolescence, and the childhood stage. There are many changes that will come in our physical self. So for now, I will just share again my PowerPoint presentation. So again, we have first the lesson 5, and we will talk about the developmental aspects of reproductive system. Okay, the sex, we have sex, female and male, di ba? And has been believed that the sex chromosomes of humans, which is we have X and Y chromosomes, are vary directly with the sexual characteristics in each, no, even male and females. We are controlled by our genetic makeup from our childhood because it influences the way we treat ourselves. Okay, the way we treat ourselves, that that includes who you are as your physical self, and that includes the distinction of individuals surrounds you in the environment. Okay, they can just predict who you are or detect who you are for your interaction, imong mga galawan, di ba? Okay, so physical self, sometimes we will not consider ourselves far from the others, but sometimes people do not accept themselves of who they are, and some people become contented also of who they are and how they look like, diba? Okay, and most people are busy making themselves prettier, na pagwapa, parituki dito, nosnos diri. That's the reason to make themselves sexier, more handsome, mag-gym, okay, mag-exercise, mag-jogging, and therefore more acceptable to the community. So that they can be more acceptable to the people surround them, or in the community. And did you know that relationships are built or broken or destroyed because of transformation of one's physical characteristics? The transformation of one's physical characteristics includes the developmental of your reproductive system. And some people are willing to exert much effort and financial resources just to improve their bodies, especially if conscious ka kaayo and you are not contented with what yourself, what you look like, you will spend more money uh, for surgery, 'di ba? Paritukin na lamang para mataas ang ilong. If mapangko bitaw ang ilong, na resulta na. Okay? And magparituki sa nawong because ganahan ka nga mapagpareha ana nga actor or actress. And did you know guys that you are not uh, told, or uh, you are not get to change that because that is God creations. And did you know that we are created by God perfectly, beautifully, fairfully, and no one can fathom the creation of God, and that is you. You created, God created you uniquely with purpose and beautifully with purpose, and that's who you are. Just accept if you have kanang mga differences, like bungi ka, bungol ka, buta ka, and just give thanks to God that God created that, and that's just accept what or who you are. That. And maybe we can say that beauty is sometimes correlated to physical attractiveness. Yes, it is. We will conscious with our beauty, basin makaingon sila nga hala mautag og kayo ana niya, hala bati kay siya nawong, but sila rin nakasala because God see you as beautiful who you are. Okay? And for this to appreciate the physical self so much, we must learn also to understand our sexual self, that includes our developmental aspects of the reproductive system in ourselves. Okay. So for now, here, the indifferent stage. When we say indifferent stage, it is the embryonic reproductive structures of males. Okay? Structures of males and females are identical. When we say identical, they are the same. Okay? The same, but the development of the reproductive system are identical, the same. Ang ilahang development in females and males, but they are in different stage. Indifferent meaning they are not the same in the stage of development. Okay? And we have here, when we say reproductive development, that starts with our gonads. Gonads in the female is the ovary, the development of the ovary of the females. And in the male, that is the testes, that development of the testes the of the male. Okay. And since we have the gonads, especially in males, they have their testosterone, right? So we have in male. After the gonads have formed, development of the accessory structures and external genitalia begins of whether male and female structures. From depends entirely on whether testosterone is present or absent. So the gonads in testes, like males, depends also if there is a testosterone is present or absent. Now let's proceed. We have also the problems commonly we have seen in the adult, especially the males and females. We have, okay, in females, we have menarche. When we say menarche, guys, it is the start of your monthly menstrual period. Okay, so at the age, in the females, at the age siguro 11, 11 to 18, 11 to 18 years old, I think. Okay, Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, menarche is the first menstrual period. That's the first development of the reproductive system in females. Okay, when we then we can also have our the stop of your menstrual period, the menopausal period. That's when ovulation and menses cease, ending childbearing ability. So you will have you cannot uh, have the ability to childbear or dili nakakapanganak because wala namang kay kuan, no? Na-stop naman ang imong ovulation process. Then we have also some in adults because of some common reproductive problems. We have some, excuse me, like in females, adult, the vaginal infections. Vaginal infections are common such as Escherichia coli, sexual transmitted microorganisms such as gonorrhea, okay, syphilis, and herpes virus and fungal infections like yeast infections. Untreated infections may spread throughout the female reproductive tract, causing pelvic inflammatory disease and sterility. So, makabaog po siya if ever dili siya nimo ma-control and dili dayon siya matambalan as early. Okay? Then aging. Aging in estrogen levels drop after menopause, causing the atrophy of reproductive organs and breast. Okay, vagina becomes dry, leading to frequent vaginal infections. So pag drop na ang level sa estrogen of all females in aging, so dry na kayo na nga tong vaginal area. So dira na dayon makaka-cause og mga daghan nga infections. In males, we also have the adult commonly inflammatory conditions. Aging, no, equivalent of menopause for males. So in adult, commonly like pag-ubo-ubo, no, normally common gid kaayo siya sa mga males, no, sa mga laki in their respiratory system. And aging, there is no such thing that menopausal in in the males because in female we have this menopausal, but in the males, even though how old they are, no, males reproductive capability seems unending, no, di gyud na siya, wag gyud na katapusan bisag magulang na sila kaayo, mawala lang na kung patay na sila. And healthy men of all ages are able to father offspring. Makapanganak pa sila gyapon even if they are very old because there is no such thing as menopausal in males, no? Nara gyapon ang ilahang sperm cells, buhi ra gyapon and active, unlike sa female. Gituyo ra pud siguro na para dili ra pud mo daghan og maayo kay if ever ang bayi until how old they are, no, gulang na siya kaayo and they can also bear a child, no, di ba, daghan na jud kaayo. Okay, so let's proceed. Diseases associated with the reproductive system. They are common disorders of male and female reproductive system. We have many infections known in ourselves. Di ba daghan kay tag infections nga mabalaan? Okay, one of the infections here is the reproductive tract infections. Reproductive tract infections are infections that affect the reproductive tract. Di ba? Reproductive tract. Now we have reproductive tract infections. And these are the infections that affect the reproductive tract, which is part of the reproductive system. Especially in females, we have upper reproductive tract, which is the fallopian tubes, ovary, and uterus, and the lower reproductive tract, which is the vagina, cervix, and vulva. In females also, we have penis, testicles, urethra, or the vas difference. Okay. And congenital abnormalities are common infections. These are the examples of infections, the Kallmann syndrome. These are the genetic disorder causing decreased functioning of the sex hormone. And the androgen insensitivity syndrome, a genetic disorder causing people who are genetically male. Okay. And intersexuality, a person who has genitalia and or other sexual traits that are not clearly male or female. Intersexuality. Kuan na siya, duha-duha siya if ever bi ba siya or dili. Diba? Or lucky ba siya or dili. And we also have these diseases like cancers. We have prostate cancers, breast cancer, ovarian cancer, pineal cancer, uterine cancer, testicular cancer, cervical cancer, etc. That are known cancers that we have long ago. Diba? So, known na jud kay na siya for us. And we also have female sexual arousal disorder. So if ever old and we have some diseases, we can have hypogonadism. What is hypogonadism? A lack of function of gonads. When we say gonads, that's the development of our testes or ovary. So kung dili siya lack of function ang imong nga testes, that can also cause diseases or illness to males, especially males. And we have the premature ejaculation. In the premature ejaculation, this is lack of voluntarily control over ejaculation. Kana ganing permi na lamang ga-ejaculate. Dili na jud sila ka-control. That's also the associated with that diseases. We have also dysmenorrhea in sometimes in many common to all females. Makarelate jud ang mga females ani in every monthly menstrual period. And endocrine problem, also known as the disruption of the endocrine system by certain chemicals, adversely affects the development of the reproductive system and can cause vaginal cancer. So kung ma-affected na siya, this will cause vaginal cancer. And proceed with the sexual behavior, human sexual behavior. We can relate with this because as male and females, we are into our sexual self. Okay? So we have erogenous zones for women and men. What do you call or what do you mean by erogenous zones? Erogenous zones, kung sa Bisaya pa na, ang kiliti. No? Asa nimo kuhaa ang kiliti? Asa nimo bulungan ang iyang kiliti? Okay? So here, erogenous zones are sensitive parts that cause increased sexual arousal when touched. Okay? Mao na siyang imong ikapon, dira nimo makita na iyang kiliti dapit. Okay? And these are the types of sexual behavior. Sexual behavior kanang from the start of your adolescence or childhood or beginning with your puberty stage. Okay? First is solitary behavior. That is your self-gratification. Naigiingon nila nga kung bago pa lang kang gadalaga, gaulita mo, kusog daw kaayo, naigiingon na haros bahunggas. Ba? And the beginning at or before puberty, that that begins with your solitary behavior in your sexual behavior, diba? And number 2, sociosexual behavior, heterosexual, begins in childhood. So, dira na magsugod-sugod na ka og connect with the intersexual, meaning intersexually connected with the opposite sex. Now, we will proceed with the sexually transmitted diseases. Okay, STDs are created or increased when you have sexually involved. Then, what are those? See, as you have seen in the screen, we have many types of STDs, diseases. Okay, first diseases is the what you call chlamydia. Okay. Chlamydia is the most notifiable condition in the United States. This case count corresponds to a rate of rate ani guys. Okay.
497.3 cases per 100,000 population. So daghan jud ay kayo aning chlamydia. And increase of 4.7% compared with the rate in 2015. 2015 pa ni siya nga rate. I do not know if pila na pud karon. And the next is gonorrhea, is an infection caused by a sexual transmitted bacterium that infects both males and females. And it is most often affects the urethra, rectum of throat. In females, gonorrhea can also infect the cervix. Okay, so as you have seen, ang gonorrhea, guys, nakakuan po ni siya kaayo sa, especially sa males, as you have seen in the picture. The third one is the chancroid. Okay, chancroid is caused by infection with the bacterium Haemophilus ducreyi. Okay, and the third one, syphilis, is caused by a bacterium also, and Trichomonas vaginalis is a common sexually transmitted protozoal infection. So, kaya sila guys, mag-create lang ni if ever naamoy sexual intercourse. And human papillomavirus is the most common sexually transmitted infection in the United States. Okay. And herpes simplex virus, the most prevalent of sexually transmitted infections. We will not go further with this, guys, because we are not dealing with the biology or any science. We are here in understanding the self. Okay, proceed. So now, guys, we have also methods of contraceptions. Okay, kung nagdoktag sexual ability, sexual self, we will know also the artificial and our natural methods of contraceptions. We have natural method versus artificial method. So do not include any chemical or foreign body introduction. That is natural method. You can use also artificial method, that is artificially created or innovations for preventions of pregnancy or any kinds of diseases, so that you cannot have the infections of STDs, diba? Sexually transmitted diseases. And the natural method, the first one is abstinence. Abstinence, guys, is do not try to have or abstain from sexual intercourse. Ayaw na lang try if ever dili pa ka ready. No, if dili pa ka married, no, I do not try with this. The first one, abstinence, guys. Okay? And cervical mucus method. Number 2, the changes in the cervical mucus during ovulation. So, kani siya, guys, changes ni siya sa cervical mucus during ovulation. And kani, to check if the woman is ovulating, the cervical mucus must be copious, thin, and watery. So, imo nang i-check ang mucus if thin ba siya or dili. So, kuan kay na siya sa mga females. And calendar method, the rhythm method, and femtothermal method, a combination of the kaning BBT, which is BBT, guys. BBT is the basal body temperature method and the cervical mucus method. So, ang calendar method, guys, you can detect that by following the date of the ovulation, and so that you can detect when. Okay? Basal body temperature, the woman's temperature at rest. Excuse me. Then ovulation detection, over-the-counter kit, and that can predict ovulation. Number 7, coitus and interruptus. Okay, the oldest methods of contraception. Coitus interruptus, guys, is what we call the withdrawal. Okay, withdrawal types of family planning. Okay, no na kaya na siya. And then the artificial method, we have contraceptives known as the pills. So daghan kayo mag-pills kay karon. Okay, daghan kayo gamit og pills. And also transdermal patch na ipatapot lang siya a form of a patch. And then subdermal implants, two rod-like implants embedded. So magpa-implanta ka diri o kanang murag duha gani na siya kabuok. Rods, they use that for the family planning method. And also the intrauterine device, IUD, the T-shaped objects that is very known to all females. And hormonal injections or DEPO. So kanang magpa-DEPO ka, injections consist of medroxyprogesterone, progesterone. And last is vaginal ring, the silicone ring. Last but not the least, silicone ring. Na po siya vaginal ring, isulod na siya inside the vagina of the female. Okay? And we have the continuation, cervical cup. Na po siya burag baso nga imong isalo dito to prevent the sperm cells to go through. Okay? This is the barrier method that is made of soft rubber. And we have also the surgical method, males undergo vasectomy. So katong subayanan sa sperm cells, i-cut to siya. That is called vasectomy. So they cut the the katong subayanan gani sa sperm cells to flow so that they can prevent pregnancy. And we have diaphragm. The diaphragm is also the same with the cervical cup. This inhibits the entrance of the sperm. So they control the flow of the sperm inside. And also the female condoms, this is very, very common and known to us, especially for not known, not usually known sa females if they use these condoms. Ang females di ay ito ang very commonly. And chemical barriers such as spermicides. Spermicides, guys, that in the piste, no, mga pesticides, okay? That is called pesticides. For the sperms, spermicides. So, kana po siya ilahang gamiton. And for the male condom, that's very, very common. For the male condom, latex or synthetic rubber sheath. Okay? Sa female condoms, that is latex, also rubber sheaths that are specially designed for females. Females lang siya. Na po siya male condoms. And let's continue. Nowadays, people are so conscious with their physical features, right? So that's what we have discussed, as what I have said a while ago. And while some people become contented of who they are and how they look like. So contented na baka of who you are. Okay? If you are contented, just comment down below for your comment. And please remember, guys, to comment down your interactions, your learnings, what you have learned in this lesson. Comment down below, okay, in the comments section, comment box. Then most people are busy making themselves prettier, sexier, more handsome, and therefore more acceptable. Yes, because sometimes maana ang mga tao dati kung nawog dili ko accepted sa community. I am not belong with the community because I am I am very, di ba, batik kong nawong. I am not used to that because maybe I will not be acceptable with the environment. And with that, also because of the development, because of the rampant development of the reproductive system and any physical self, we have also relationships that are destroyed, okay? Are built or destroyed because of transformations of one's physical characteristics. Some people are willing to exert much efforts and financial resources just to improve their bodies. And beauty is sometimes correlated to physical attractiveness. That's why for us to appreciate the physical self, we must also learn and understand the sexual self. Understand the sexual self in your physical self. Because if ever dili nimo na siya ma-maintain, that will cause damage to your physical self. And that will also kill or sometimes put to death to a person who will not uh, keep themselves uh, careful with everything. So that's the discussion for this lesson 5. Don't forget, guys, to comment down below your learnings, your interactions, your reactions, and many or any suggestions or comments. Please comment down below, and for the subject GE1 understanding the self, I will give some points to those who will commented in this video. Okay, thank you so much. This is the end of our lesson 5. Don't forget also, guys, to subscribe to this channel. Your support means a lot. God bless everyone and keep safe. Thank you so much.